Well, again, welcome back to the range. I'm Mike, Andy. Today we're going to be testing the third platform in a series of 3 different type of platforms that we have been designing and engineering at BallistiCorp. And the reason for the multiple platforms is we've been finding out when we talk to schools, talk to law enforcement agencies, malls, the people that would be interested in ballistic duct and cover systems, that there are different needs because you got different environments. And if you want to check out on our website and the YouTubes, our previous shoots, just look up in the right-hand corner of the YouTube video here. There will be a drop-down menu you can click on, and you can go explore our website and see the actual range tests that we've done on the first 2 systems, which you can see behind us. The one on the far right, on your far right, that's the composite system that can be poured as a foundation, poured as a wall, poured in blocks, and then stacked as blocks. Great for making a building, a very fire-resistant and bullet-resistant building. That particular block right there has stopped a 50 caliber at 10 yards. That's a 50 caliber 660 grain BMG. The one on the far left, that's a thinner paneling system that can go in the walls. It's only 3.5 inches, 3 5/8 inches thick, specifically designed to be used in walls of a house or a basement or whatever, because that's the standard industry size for a stud. So you can build a safe house. Again, we've got that on video. That particular little 1x1 foot paneling took 176 rounds. We started out with a Black Tip NATO, 30-06 Black Tip NATO, and followed up with some 30-06 full metal jacket, some AK-47, about 12 rounds of those, then about 150 rounds of 5.56, both full metal jacket and armor piercing. And he finished it off with his 45 ACP. Only 1 bullet went through. There it is right there. It's on video. Check it out. It's very impressive. The third system that we're testing today is more for if you want like a table in the back of a grade school classroom or a college room or a display case in a mall. How about a podium in an airport? This would work best. And so it's a little bit thicker. We can use a little bit different material, but and in this case we actually put it on wheels, so you can actually move this thing around in case somebody walks in and drops a knapsack and you got smoke coming out of it or tosses in a pipe bomb. We're finding out more and more that these active shooters that come into schools are bringing in pipe bombs with them. How about the Boston Marathon? That was a cooker bomb. Now they're coming in with bucket bombs that they're dropping in bus stations and stuff like that. You want a portable system. So that's why we're designing multiple models, multiple platforms. Today we're testing this third platform. It's a little bit thicker, so we can use a little bit different material. And with all 3 systems, it's coming out low cost. We're using recycled, repurposed core material. And that's why we can make it so inexpensive. The biggest problem we're having out there when we're talking to agencies that are interested in this is the 3 bad words: budget, budget, budget. If we can overcome that, then they can afford this. The reason schools aren't picking up on a lot of the ballistic systems that are out there is they are insanely expensive. We're taking care of that. These things are 50 to 80% less expensive than the high-tech stuff. This is very low-tech, therefore it's very low maintenance. In fact, there's virtually no maintenance. Once this is set up in place, it'll stay there forever. And we made it so they are portable, so in case you do have to move it. So in a case like this, you see on the bottom there, that's going to be a table. And set that up in the back of the classroom. It's operating as a table for the students 24/7. If at some point there is a tragic incident where the kids hear something coming down the hallway, they're hearing bang, 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 it takes seconds, just seconds to dive behind that. They don't have to get out, put on any gear. They don't have to run through something that they've learned on the lockdown drill, they're going to be scared out of their mind. The only thing they're going to know what to do is duck and cover. That's what that is, duck and cover. As the teacher's closing, locking the door, jamming something under the bottom, bolting the hinges, that person cannot get into that classroom. By then the kids are behind that barrier, and that barrier will absorb anything, I guarantee you, anything that an active shooter can bring down that hallway. That's why we're shooting it so close. This is between 5 to 10 yards to simulate an active shooter in a classroom, in a mall, coming into the entrance area of an airport. How about the entrance of a precinct, a law enforcement precinct? You have seconds. That's all you have is seconds to get behind cover. And hopefully agencies that purchase this will use this as just one of the cogs in the machine against active shooter events. This is a duck and cover, but you also need in place law enforcement checking into social media to see the threat coming. How about a station at the front, the entrance of a school? It's got to be multi-tiered. This is just one of those elements. And there is no perfect solution. There's no way you're ever going to stop an active shooter or a terrorist. But this is one of the best solutions when incorporated with other elements, such as law enforcement doing background checks or whatever. So that's what we're trying to do, is to provide that one element, the duck and cover element, at a low cost so these agencies can afford it. Because we've been out there and there's nothing in the schools. Even after all the stuff that's been on the news over the years, there's still nothing coming into the schools or workplaces, whatever, to protect the people that live there and operate there. We're trying to remedy that here at BallistiCorp, and today we're going to be testing like that system there. That's going to be turned into a table. And in the middle level there, those are just some prototypes that are a little bit more in depth. So we got tattletales throughout that. That's going to tell me how far some of this ammunition is going to penetrate. One of the big guys we're going to use to test those is the 30-06 or the 7.62 by 63 Black Tip NATO armor piercing. That's this one. It stops that, it's going to stop anything. But just to make things even more interesting, we're going to hit it with this as well. That's a 660 grain 50 caliber BMG. Those three in the middle. We're going to hit those with this ammunition. And then we're going to open up on this bottom one with a lot of 5.56 and a ton of 9mm. The reason for the 9mm is some of the city, county, state, and federal agencies will not let us build pipe bombs or use frag grenades to see what this would do up against an IED. So instead of doing that, we're going to kind of simulate by putting 300, 400, 500 rounds of 9mm in it, simulating the energy it would take, or the energy that a pipe bomb loaded to middle grade pipe bomb would give off. And we figured that was the best way to simulate that, the safest way, and we'll see what it'll do. So that's what we're here to do today, and I think it's going to be a successful shoot. We've been developing this for the last 4 or 5 years, and like I said, this is the third in a series of 3 platforms that we're developing, and I'm excited to see how that's going to turn out. So, Andy, I've been pontificating long enough. Give it a shot. What do you got for us? Anything?
Let's go put some holes in stuff.
I've said way too much already. Right? Okay, got it. So let's put some holes in this and see how this stacks up to some pretty heavy-duty machinery here, and let's see what happens.
Let's do it.
Okay. Okay, first test shoot is going to be with Andy's going to be shooting the 7.62 by 63, both full metal jacket and armor piercing. So armor piercing in these 3, full metal jacket in these 3, and then full metal jacket in these 3. Okay. Andy, you ready? Range is hot.
bottom three were armor piercing M2. So these three were full metal jacket 762 by 63 NATO. These three were 762 by 63 M2 armor piercing NATO.
Okay, 5 more rounds of 7.62 by 63, also known as the 30-06. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, range is hot, range is hot. 50 caliber, BMG, left middle panel.
Weapons hot.
Same panel, left-hand panel, upper right-hand quadrant. Hit the middle one. Middle panel. Let's go right-hand one. I'm sure it's going to go through, but we have to test it. Range is hot. Right-hand panel.
Safe.
Range is frozen. Range is hot. Weapons hot. 5.56 full metal jacket and 5.56 armor piercing at about 7 to 10 yards. We're going to be testing the bottom cabinet. Fire in the hole. Weapons safe.
Safe.
Range is frozen. Going down range. No penetration. Andy and I are going to be acting like two active shooters coming into a school. Door's been jammed shut by the teacher. Kids are behind the table made out of our material. We have ARs. He's got 5.56 full metal jacket. I've got 5.56 armor piercing. Only thing we can do is shoot through the door or shoot through the wall. Kids are behind the barrier. We're going to see how much this barrier can withstand. We already put 5 of his, 5 of mine. We're going to empty our 30 round magazines to see how much this thing can withstand. Weapons hot. Fire in the hole. One came through. Probably the armor piercing. Looks like I had 1 penetration of armor piercing, 2 that are just barely poking. So we probably reached the level of protection depth will give us on this panel. This is one of the narrower cabinets. We're going to be actually going with the thickness or the width of these, which is 48 inches deeper. So it held up pretty good. So what we're going to do now is hit it with a shotgun a few times, and then we're just going to load with 9mm till it falls apart.
This is a shotgun, right? Yeah.
12 gauge shotgun, slug in buckshot, 7 to 10 yards, 4 rounds. Fire in the hole. Weapons clear.
That's because we're too close.
Range is frozen. Frozen
Okay.
range.
Further away.
No penetration. No penetration. 12 gauge shotgun. As promised, we're going to throw a lot of lead into our table. This is a ballistic table. We already put probably 100 pounds into it. We're going to put a lot more with our firing squad here. Most of this is 9mm. It'll be followed up by some 45 and some 44 Magnum.
And so 45 long Colt, just for laughs.
Yeah, just for laughs. So we're going to put this to the test. We're going to hit it with a lot with this firing squad. Range is hot, weapons hot, fire in the hole, commence firing. Weapons safe. I'm going to go check it and we'll do it again. Oh, range is frozen. Range is frozen. Going down range.
Huh?
No penetration. No penetration. Stopped everything. I'm going to hit it again.
Okay. That's the lower one, Mike?
This one. Stopped everything. Okay, that was so successful. We're going to do the firing squad yet a second time. At about 10 yards. Most of this is 9mm, but we got a few other surprises there when we're done. Weapons hot, weapons hot. Fire in the hole, fire at will. Okay, we're now back from the range, and I've deconstructed the 4 panels that were shot. These 3 are just deeper versions of the cabinetry that we have here. This has 12 inches of core material and about a 15-inch wide cabinetry. 14 inches of which we're using. There's an indentation here in the back. We put 450 rounds of different munitions into this cabinetry. We had 3 penetrations. These are all armor-piercing 5.56 to the best of my estimation. So we found the limitations of the cabinetry, which is about 12 inches of core material, and this was the munition right here, the 5.56 green tip NATO armor piercing that did penetrate in a couple of places. We also have a few dents where it almost penetrated. So we're right at the limitation. We know the minimal thickness for anything up to a 5.56 NATO armor piercing. The cabinetry that we'll be using started about 16 inches deep, more probably about 18 to 24 inches. This was the straight mix. This was the enhanced mix. We hit all 3 of these with the 50 caliber. Only one defeated the 50 caliber, and that was the enhanced mix. This is the OSB board that I used as a tattletale on the back of this, and it did not penetrate. Punched some material into this, shattering this, breaking it, but it did not penetrate. So this stopped the 50 caliber. All 3 of them stopped the 7.62 by 63, or better known as the 30 caliber M2 Black Tip NATO armor piercing. That armor piercing will go through 1 to 1.5 inch steel plating. All 3 of them stopped it. So very successful ballistic platforms. So in review, we had a 12-inch cabinetry filled with 12 inches of our minimum grade core material. It stopped almost 450 rounds of munitions from the 5.56 green tip NATO armor piercing on down. That included the 5.56 full metal jacket, 44 Magnum, 45 ACP, about 350 rounds of 9mm, 4 rounds of 12 gauge shotgun, 2 slug, 2 rounds of buckshot. We then also tested the same type of platform but had a greater depth, same material. The minimum core material did not stop the 50, but it did stop the 30-06 Black Tip NATO armor piercing at about 14 inches. It stopped the 30 caliber full metal jacket at about 8 inches. Here's the tattletale right here. I believe that to be the 50 caliber, and that's the Black Tip NATO. This is at the 16-inch mark. I only have one penetration, and that's 50 caliber. As far as the 30 caliber full metal jacket, the first indication of that was at the 8-inch mark. So I believe that to be the 50 armor piercing, and that's the full metal jacket. At the 10-inch mark, I only see 2 holes. 8-inch mark, 3 holes. That tells me that our minimum core material stopped a 30 caliber or a 7.62 by 63 full metal jacket at about 8 inches. That's pretty good. That means this cabinetry here would have also stopped the 30 caliber full metal jacket. The enhanced core material did stop the 50 at about 16 inches. This is, again, the OSB tattletale that I had on the very back. This platform here, 16 inches deep, all it had was a dent in it. No penetration. I never did find the Black Tip NATO armor piercing in this model. I'm guessing it probably stopped at about 6 inches. This model here had some layering in the very front of it, very similar to the minimum core material model that we used here. It also stopped the 30-06 at about, again, 14 inches. The podiums and the tables that we are building start with a depth at about 16 inches, and we've demonstrated here that the 16-inch depth will stop the Black Tip NATO 30 caliber armor piercing. We also put a lot of munitions into this platform to demonstrate how it would respond to an IED, such as a pipe bomb or a pressure cooker bomb. Being that it would be illegal to actually build one of these things and set it off to test it against us, we had simulated an IED by putting 300 to 400 rounds of 9mm plus other munitions into this. Law enforcement is finding that many of the active shooters are bringing with them pipe bombs, and they'll start at about 6 to 12 inches in length. I calculated how much gunpowder it would be in a 6-inch pipe, about this diameter, and estimated that to be about 400 rounds of munitions. Now, consider that when a pipe bomb goes off, it's going off in all directions, so the energy is being dispersed in every direction you can think of. Whereas when we hit this with all those munitions, we're putting all that energy directly into this platform, as well as all the bullets or the lead, which would simulate the shrapnel. So this demonstrated that it would hold up very well against a low to medium grade IED, such as a pipe bomb or a bucket bomb or a pressure cooker bomb. All in all, a very successful test of the platforms that we are producing.
You probably recognize this platform from the last test range shoot that we did. It stopped the 5.56 armor piercing, 5.56 full metal jacket. In reality, when we go into production of these, the cabinetry that we have chosen will be a steel cabinet made out of 16 gauge steel. This is about 18 to 20 gauge steel, and it's 16 inches deep. The cabinetry we'll be using is going to be 18 inches deep, 2 inches more in depth. And on the last shoot, this particular unit here with the standard core material stopped the 30 caliber armor piercing round. That'll go through a 1-inch plate steel, but it stopped that at about 14 inches. It stopped the 30 caliber full metal jacket at about 8 inches. And today, what we're going to do is we're just going to hammer it with 5.56 and a couple of rounds of 30 caliber full metal jacket. We're going to use a 1 by 1 foot section so we meet the NIJ and UL 752 standards. I'll turn it sideways where we got a foot by foot, and we're going to hit that till it falls apart.
Weapons hot. Fire in the hole.
5.56 armor piercing at about 3 yards.
Fire in the hole.
Okay, hitting both platforms here, both models. Got a couple of ARs, and we got one AK-47. I've got about 25 rounds left in my mag. You got 30 rounds? How many you got?
I got 20.
20, so we're gonna spread them between the two, just for the first volley. Okay, range is hot. Fire in the hole, weapons hot. Commence firing. I'm clear.
Wow.
Nothing to photograph in the back.
No, a couple of little indentations though, but didn't go through.
Great.
Yeah.
We found this
Do you think
maximum.
you're blasting a hole through it by shooting multiple bullets in the same area?
No,
No.
this self-corrects.
Oh.
Every time something goes in, it just
Oh, fills in the void.
fills in the void.
Oh.
Go ahead, charge your weapon. Range is hot. Range is hot. Try to shoot straight on. They're coming off the side.
Okay. All right, coming in.
Straight in. Straight in.
Are we clear?
Straight in. Go ahead. You're clear? Range is frozen. Range is frozen. We are clear.
Yeah, if they shoot at an angle, it rips through the side.
Well, we finally penetrated one.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Wow.
I wonder which one that was. But hey, you know, it's still
How many rounds was that total going through there?
this one.
Yeah.
I think we're up to about 100.
100. Wow.
Four diamonds. Firing squad. Hot. Fire at will. Okay, we're going to continue on this platform. I already have about 415, 420 rounds in this, mostly AR 5.56 armor piercing, about 100 AK-47, about 10 shotgun, half slug, half buckshot, and the rest 9mm. So we're just going to keep pummeling this. Today we're just going to hit with a lot of 9mm. Again, we already got 415 to 420 rounds in there. Andy, ready when you are. Commit firing. 550 rounds. 9mm, 550 rounds. No penetration.
Now I'm done.